What's going on, everybody? Welcome in, welcome one, welcome all. Today we are talking about Spongebob the Cosmic Shake, which replaying has been great. I got this game originally when it came out, and I nearly 100% the game. This time around, I'm just having a blast, and at times it's a great rush of nostalgia, especially because all the original voice actors are here. Even the background cast. Not only do I get to enjoy my favorite childhood cartoon, SpongeBob, I also get to enjoy one of the biggest gaming genres from my childhood, 3D platformers. And so to start, I just want to tell a little story because every time I played this game, there was a bit of nostalgia in there. Even though it's a newer game, it was my childhood cartoon. So I just always had kind of these fleeting memories passing by in my mind that were just so great. And one that I really thought about a lot was we weren't, as a rule in the house, for the shortest amount of time that this rule lived because me and my brothers wreaked havoc, we weren't allowed to eat outside of the kitchen. And so my older brother, to follow this rule, but also to be able to watch SpongeBob in the morning when we had our breakfast, we had the kitchen, and then there was, just like a doorway that led to the living room. And we set up these foldable tables in the doorway so that it was still on the tile of the kitchen, and we were technically still in the kitchen while we ate our breakfast, but we could see the corner of the living room where the TV was and watch SpongeBob. And that's just one of my fondest memories, is my brother just setting up those tables for us and getting waffles and everything. And we were eating waffles and everything and just having breakfast in the morning, a nice sunny morning, watching SpongeBob. And it's just a great memory for me to have, and one of many that this game brought to me. But now we can get more into the game. I really wanted to share that because this game, if you're my age or older or whatever, you do have this nostalgic feeling. Even though it's a new game, you still get it because it's SpongeBob. So let's get into what the game is now, which is the story of the game. And that begins when SpongeBob finds this bottle of bubble soap that a mermaid is selling. And then after blowing too many bubbles, realizes, after it's too late of course, that it's no ordinary bubble soap. It's magical bubble soap that rips through the space-time continuum, making people and parts of Bikini Bottom lost in these portals to other dimensions. You, SpongeBob, now have to go through these different dimensions and use the bubble soap to bring people and parts of the Bikini Bottom back. These portals I've mentioned will take you to some familiar scenery, if you're a real fan, like going to Rock Bottom, or even medieval times. Bikini Bottom itself, however, will be your hub world, and here you will get side quests and even do some collecting/puzzles in the hub world. I love how Bikini Bottom starts to look more back to normal as you go through and complete the different worlds. It begins to feel like I'm part of a world I loved so much as a child. I do wish you could go into some of the interiors like you could in Battle for the Bikini Bottom. The game does have nice little interactions, however. When you walk up to random characters, they just kind of say random things, and sometimes they were just absolutely outlandish, and occasionally the game would get a chuckle out of me. Going back though for a second, I did forget to mention that in the story, Patrick becomes a balloon due to the bubble magic, and he basically is with you the whole game, which I love because it just makes for great dialogue in and out of cutscenes. The chemistry between SpongeBob and Patrick that you get throughout the game really adds a layer of familiarity and hilarity. As I played Cosmic Shake, I appreciated the writing more and more. I could just tell the people writing this game were closer to my age, or at least just understood the golden era of SpongeBob. All the jokes and references were to SpongeBob from my childhood, which definitely played a factor in the amount of laughs I had. It feels like this game can be enjoyed by adults and kids for their own reasons, which again is so SpongeBob, because if you watch the same old episodes we watched back then, I'm telling you, some of those jokes really do make a whole new kind of sense. Plenty of jokes that went over my head as a kid and watch them now as an adult, and they just take on this whole new meaning. Like, I genuinely laugh. Like, I can understand now looking back, because yeah, my dad was a G. He would genuinely sit down and enjoy watching SpongeBob with me. And now I see why, though, because again, like, the jokes that went over my head as a kid, like, it was so, there was a definite level of genius in writing SpongeBob where, like, the joke walked the line perfectly of, like, this is okay for kids. They're not going to understand the innuendo factor of it. They're just going to laugh at it at a surface level. And then my dad's going to be sitting there next to me laughing about whatever the joke really was. You know, it's just, it had a level of genius to it. Anyway, the game's story and humor are great, but it doesn't stop there because there's also plenty of collectibles to go for. Cosmic Shake is going to introduce more collectibles as you get further in the game. And personally, I liked this a lot because it gives you a reason to return to some of the old areas that you already completed through the story and everything. You will be able to go back to those. And my personal favorite location in this game was Rock Bottom. And getting more collectibles throughout the story, giving reason to bring me back there was really nice. One collectible you get throughout is gold doubloons. You know, those gold doubloons. And these are the creme de la creme when it comes to collectibles. These gold doubloons will afford you new outfits, which are also really nostalgic and fun to get, because they all come from some episode of SpongeBob that'll make you remember some great moments of the show. Some of these outfits you also get while playing through the story, and I really enjoyed that. It added that much more flavor to each world that you get an outfit to help you fit in with the theme of that world. As far as gameplay, it's not like Battle for Bikini Bottom or anything. You strictly play as SpongeBob, again, like I've talked about earlier. Patrick is a balloon, so he just stays by your side, and I really honestly, at first, when the game came out, I remember thinking, like, damn, it would be nice to be able to play as the other characters, because in Battle for Bikini Bottom, it was cool because you played as Patrick and Sandy, and they all had their own mechanics for different puzzles that go into different worlds. So that was nice, but playing as just SpongeBob it's fine to me, honestly. I mean, would I enjoy being able to play as the other characters again? Sure, but playing as SpongeBob was fine. And I, again, enjoyed having Patrick just there on my shoulder the whole time because it added a layer of, like, comedy and, again, familiarity there. So playing as SpongeBob, the combat and all these things, it's nothing that's going to be that difficult. This game is not going to throw a ton of, it's not going to be a tough game. It's a good game for, again, adults and kids. If you're an adult that loved SpongeBob as a child, this is just going to have that level of novelty to it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the gameplay is fun and the collecting is fun. It's just not going to be like, you're not going to be learning any new tricks here playing this game. Not to say that there aren't mechanics that go into boss fights and things. The boss fights actually are pretty good overall, and even some of the common enemies that you get to fight in the later part of the game, they have mechanics that you got to work with. Like, one of them throws these, like, bomb things at you, and you can't hit him. You got to, like, send him back, and eventually you learn how to do, like, a karate kick kind of thing. And there's these shelled little enemies, and you can't just hit them either. You got to karate kick them first, and then you can hit them and get rid of them. Something about this game that I do appreciate for anybody that's maybe not, like, oh, I need to 100% every game I play or something. This game, it's, a good old 3D platformer. If you want to beeline the story and just do that, and you don't care as much about the collectibles, then you can do that. You don't need to, get into the nitty gritty of things and get all the little collectibles and everything. If you don't jive with that and you just want the SpongeBob experience, it's right here. Again, the writing and everything, the character writing, it's all really good in this game. And that's why I was actually kind of, to detour a little bit here, disappointed to find out that this game apparently didn't do that well. Like, for a SpongeBob game, for a game with the SpongeBob branding on it, I was disappointed to find out that it did not sell that well, because this game is pure quality. Like, I did not run into any glitches or bugs. I think maybe actually once or twice I jumped somewhere and kind of, you know, that thing where you jump between two objects or whatever, or like the corner of something, and you get stuck floating there. I think that happened to me once or twice, but I was usually able to just kind of swing my bubble wand and that would get me out of it. So it's not like I had to like, oh, let me quit the game and restart it and everything, and I probably lost some progress. Like, it wasn't anything like that. It was literally just like I would swing and get out of it. And that was like the only thing that ever really happened that, you know, was like a glitch or bug or whatever. But yeah, SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake did not sell well at all. In fact, it did terrible, especially for the branding again that's on the game. I read from, I believe it was Game Sensor. I mean, I've read a couple of articles that said pretty similar things, but it took a month for this game just to sell 50,000 copies. 50,000 copies in a month? That's bad. I mean, I would like to see more of the overall numbers. I couldn't find anything, but I mean, it was put out on the Switch and all these things, and this is just Steam numbers, so I do wonder how it did elsewhere. Maybe it did a lot better in other places. That is my cope. That is my cope for this game, that it did really well in other places, because again, 50,000 copies in a month is really bad for something of this level of popularity. Like, it's crazy to me that more people haven't tried this game, and that tells me this video is probably going to do terrible, but I don't really care, because I just want to talk about this game because I love it, and I think it also, if it pushes anybody to get this game, great, because I think this game should be experienced through more people. I mean, if you like Collectathon, if you like platforming, if you like SpongeBob, all of it is here, and it's all quality. On the upside, this is a smaller 3D platformer type game, so it's not gonna cost them a ton to make return, at least I think. So that is the upside to these smaller AA kind of level games, is it doesn't take a ton to make a return on investment. So hopefully they did still make money from this game, and hopefully they do make another SpongeBob game, because their remaster or remake or whatever of Battle for Bikini Bottom, and then the making of a whole new SpongeBob game with like just no, the only blueprint they had was going off of what they remade for Battle for Bikini Bottom, and they didn't even fully stick to that blueprint because you only play as SpongeBob in this one. So they did a really good job at just making a brand new SpongeBob game. I mean, this game is so quality and just so, it's so enjoyable to play. So relaxing, so nostalgic, so much cozy feelings that go into playing this game. And I've never played it, but my friends played the SpongeBob movie game back on like the GameCube, or I think it was the GameCube, and they loved that game, and they really, really want to see a remake of that one. So my hope, my hope is that they made enough at least for a remake. I'm sure they did. I'm sure it's sold more since whatever article I read. But I hope that maybe they, because it is Embracer Group over this whole thing, it's under that umbrella, and they, as we all know, had this huge falling apart of selling off companies and shutting down and all these things. They had to really readjust because they just bought way more than they could handle. So my hope is that this doesn't get affected, and they still see this as a worthy investment to make SpongeBob games, and we hopefully get a remake. Maybe that's a low investment, possibly high reward kind of thing, you know, to remake a childhood favorite. So the SpongeBob movie game, a lot of people liked that. So hopefully we do see more of these in the future. But anyways, I totally went off track, and that's pretty much all I have to say about the game. The game is great. I think it took me around like 20 hours to beat the game. That's not like 100%ing or anything. That's just beating the game. So, I mean, I have 35.9 hours on the game, but I haven't beaten it a second time. But the first time I played, I had around the 20 hours, and I didn't 100% or anything. So it's like a 20 to 30 hour experience, depending on how much you want to put into it, obviously. And I've really been appreciating games like that. These little bite-sized games where it's like, I can complete this in a matter of a week is just great. Play it for a handful of days, and then it's an experience under your belt. Maybe you can return to it someday, but it's complete. And again, the complete experience of SpongeBob SquarePants, the Cosmic Shake, is a quality one. That's really the best thing I could, the one defining thing I can say about this game. It is pure quality through and through. Graphically, writing-wise, design-wise, everything about this game is just pure quality. So if you're interested, I definitely recommend picking up this game, and hopefully we do get another SpongeBob game at some point in the future, because the developers that made these are just fantastic. So anyways, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below. Do you have any favorite memories with SpongeBob or anything? Let me hear it. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.